Hello, today I'll show you how to make a bomb diffuser game in Scratch. As you can see, this is the bomb and the buttons for which wire to cut. If I let then it'll explode. But if I cut the right wire, or the wrong one actually, then it'll also explode. But if I click the right one, it will not explode. So let's get started. First, delete the cat and paint a sprite. Name it Bomb. Now, use the box tool. Make sure there is no outline and make the fill a nice darkish reddish color. And create the rectangle. Now, make it a good size. Something like this, and place it in the middle. Now, after that, use the circle tool, make the fill very red, but lighter, and drag out something like this, and place it in the middle. Then drag it, press shift, place it here, duplicate it, place it back in the middle, make the color the same as the base or rectangle, place it here, and now you have a nice 3D looking cylinder. Now select all of it, group it, make sure it's in the middle. Now copy pastel it or duplicate it, place it down here, duplicate it, place it in the middle, and then up here. And if you want, you can adjust. Now select two of these, duplicate it, place it in the middle, shift it to the right, make it go to the back, which will give a nice 3D effect. Duplicate the same two, this time it will automatically go to the top layer, which means just adjust it until it looks 3D like that. Now select all of it and then group it, and make sure it's in the middle. Now use the box tool, make the fill a nice very dark gray, drag it out to here, make it a good size, duplicate it, place it back in the middle, shift it a bit, make it a good size, and then make it a lighter gray. Then use the box tool and drag out a nice long rectangle like this. Then use the drawing tool, make the fill a nice red like this, and after that make this a good thickness and draw your wire. First wire is red, second wire is black, third wire would be a nice brightish yellow, and lastly a nice green. Now after that, duplicate this, name the original bomb, and delete all the wires. Now in here, delete the main parts until you're left with the wires. Now, only copy these three, delete them, and name it red wire. Duplicate it, name this black wire, like this. Delete the red, and then bring these two wires duplicate it, name this one yellow wire, delete this, duplicate it, make sure this is the yellow, and lastly the green wire, and name it green wire. Now, after you have all 3 wires, move the bomb to the bottom, then paint a new costume named red, or you can name it red button. Use the box tool, make the fill a nice red color and the outline a more darker red color, and make the thickness a good size. Now, create a rectangle like this and make it a good size. Then use the text tool and make the fill a more darker red, or the outline of the rectangle color, and you can use any font you want. Type in red, duplicate this, name this black button, make the outline black, and make the fill a very dark gray color, and make the text black, and make sure that this says black. Now, duplicate this, name it yellow button, make the outline a dark yellow, make the fill a normal, less dark yellow, and make the fill of this the dark yellow. Now, lastly, the green button, name this green, make this green, make this green, and lastly make this green. Now we're finally done with this, and make sure to place the bomb down here. Now lastly, one more thing, create a new costume named fire, then use the circle tool, make it a gradient, make the right side transparent and this side fully saturated red, and make the size about 100 times, about 120 times 120 of size, and make sure your order looks something like this: red wire, four different colored wires, 4 different colored buttons, 1 bomb, and then the fire. Now, in the code, finally, we will, when green flag is clicked, create a new block named create clones. Run without screen refresh. And also hide and clear all graphic effects. Now, in create clones, create a new variable named type for this sprite only. Now in here, set type to B for button, switch costume to black, a red button which is the start, and then go to negative 180 to negative 120, repeat 4 times, create a clone of myself, then change x by, and now we're gonna do some math. 360, since we start at negative 180, so 180 times 2, and then divided by 3, which would be 120, which means we change x by 120, and then next costume. Now, duplicate this, then switch this to switch costume to red wire, go to 0, 0, and also set type to W for wire, remove the change x by, duplicate this, remove the repeat, place this here, then switch costume to bomb, set type to bomb, and lastly create a clone of myself. Now if you test it, and also when I start as a clone, show. Now if you test it, as you can see you have everything, but also make sure that in here there's also a go to back layer, so then all the wires will show. Now after this, when I start as a clone, it will be a forever, then if else, type equals B for button, then we will do set brightness to 0, then a if else again, touching mouse pointer, create a new variable called wire selected for all sprites, set wire selected to, and then costume number, which in this case the button it would be 5 if it was selected on red, then change size by a divide, subtract, then another size in here, put 5 in here, 120 here, duplicate this, place, change this to 100. Now if you test it, as you can see, it'll have a nice selection effect. And if you want, set brightness to 10 in here, which will have an even better selection effect. Now, after that, in the else, we will do if type equals W, which is wire, then if else, wire selected subtracted by 4, since if you select red and subtract by 4, then it'll go to red wire. So now put in an equal if wire selected selected subtracted by 4 equals costume number. Then set brightness to 50, or actually 90, else set brightness to 0. So now if you test it and select a wire, then if you select green, it will make green bright, yellow, it will make yellow bright, black, it will make black bright, and red will be all like that. Now, in here another if else, and for now, if else not mouse down, or actually, if not mouse down, then set wire selected to 0, and we will put else with something later. Now if you test it, as you can see, it'll have a nice selection effect. And also in the backdrops, use the box tool, make it a nice gray color, and drag it out. Now you can see the wires better while selected. Now, back in here, we will do in the else broadcast new message check. Now in here, when I receive check, then if selected subtracted by 4 equals number, then delete this clone. Then another if, then type equals bomb, and then another if not wire selected subtracted by 4 equals costume number, then we will do broadcast new message timer, which we will do later, and then create a new variable named timer multiplier or multi for all sprites, and change timer multiplier by 5. Duplicate all of this, remove the not, remove all of this, and replace it with stop other scripts in sprite. Now, with this, set timer multi to 1. Also create a new variable named correct wire for all sprites, and in check replace these with correct wire. Go back, set correct wire to pick random 1 to 4. Now down here, broadcast timer when I receive timer, then forever, let's make the timer accurate even if you are laggy, by finding the FPS first for all sprites, set FPS to 1 divided by timer, and then reset timer. Now create a new variable named timer for all sprites, change timer by -1 divided by FPS times timer multiplier. Then create another new variable named display time for all sprites. Set display time to join 00 this, and then round timer, the variable timer. Then if timer is less than 0, then set timer to 0, broadcast new message, explode. Now, with this, when I receive explode, then stop other scripts in Sprite, repeat 1, delete this clone, set type to F for fire, and then create a new variable, new block named fast explosion. Run without screen refresh. Now, switch costume to fire, repeat, pick random 200 to 300, create another new variable named force for the sprite only, set force to pick random 1 to 50. Then create a clone of myself. Now, back in when I start as a clone, add in a if else to the forever loop, or over the forever loop, then a if not, type equal F for fire, then in the else we will do point in direction, pick random 0 to 360. Then set size to pick random 50 to 100. Now set color to a multiply, a subtract, and then a divide. 1 subtracted by force divided by 50 times 35. Duplicate this, then set brightness to that, but instead of multiplying by 35, it's 50. Then repeat 100, turn clockwise by pick random, -1 to 1, move by force, set force to force times 0.8. Then change brightness by -1, change ghost by 1, change Y by size divided by 100, and then lastly change size by -0.1. Now if you test it, it will explode since the timer's already at 0, which means we need to set timer to 10. So then we have 10 seconds, as you can see, but then display time, it will also show a nice timer. Now for the physical timer, create a new sprite named timer. Use the text tool, make it any font you want, I'll make it pixel, and make the fill red. Now type in all the numbers 1 through 9 through 0. And 0. Duplicate the 0, make this a colon, same with this. Now, after that, when green flag is clicked, hide, then a forever, create a new block named create text, then position X, add an input called X, position Y, add input called Y, then size, add an input called size, then lastly text, add an input called text. Run without screen refresh. Now in here for Y, this will be -10, X will be filled out later, size will be 100, text will just be display time. Now in here, set size to size, then go to X and Y, create a new variable named digit for this sprite only, set digit to 0, repeat length of text, then after that change digit by 1, switch costume to letter digits of text. Then create a clone of myself, change X by size times 0.14. Now back in here with the X, do length of display text times size times negative 0.07, like this. Now after that, when I start as a clone, show, then wait 0 seconds, delete this clone, and also when I receive explode, stop other scripts in sprite and delete this clone. Now if you test it, as you can see, the timer will go down. If you click the wrong one, it'll go really fast and explode. But if you click the right one, if you try, then everything will stop and you will be saved. Now you have a nice bomb diffuser game in Scratch. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.